Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're well. Okay, as you can see, we're starting a new zoo. Now that doesn't mean that Misty Marsh has ended. I've got itchy fingers and I just wanted to get on with the new project. So this is Isna Isle. As you can see, I've already landscaped the whole habitat. Now, not habitat, the whole zoo I should say. Um, the reason I'm doing something like this is because whenever we do a zoo, or whenever I've done a zoo, you start building at the entrance here. You end up with a zoo taking up this much space, and then your computer dies, and that's all you can do. And I really wanted to do a zoo that was spread out, and I thought an island was a good way of doing that. So I did a pre-landscaped terrain, and then I just went around and did the edges. And as we go along, we'll re-landscape bits and pieces as we need to as well. So this island is going to be kind of big, impressive buildings. You can see I've already started something over here, which I'll explain in a minute. So big, impressive buildings, but not unrealistic, not over the top. Things that could actually be built in real life is the plan, with some nice big habitats, and we'll just see where the wind takes us, really. So, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Still quite poorly. I have previously recorded an episode of this. If you saw my post last week, basically the first episode just didn't go very well. I ended up starting a building that I wasn't happy with, and so basically by the end of the episode, I ended up with an empty island again, and I really didn't want to put that out as my first episode. So off camera, I've just done a little bit of building here. Actually, took me quite a while to get this going, but now this is now going to change because I've rethought what I'm doing a bit, but the basic idea here is it's going to be this big sort of entrance building, sort of museum, meeting place, sort of information centre, all these things all sort of mixed into one. So see what I've done here. So this is all off grid. So I want to try and do off grid if I can. So you've got window pieces that I've made orange, and then all this is done with just art pieces around the outside to create the frame. And then I've done it curved at the end, which I think looks pretty cool. So, and then the idea was I was going to do a second layer with a pathway, but actually the whole thing is going to change now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this path because actually the pathway is going to be slightly different to this, but also the angle of the building is now going to change as well. So we'll get rid of all that. Now I'm also going to get rid of that. So we basically just got this twice now. Yeah, so that is exactly the same as that. So in fact, what I need to do, I might as well just delete that for now and just stick with one. So first thing I actually need to do is flatten the terrain all over here, because I've got to make sure that this is as flat as it can be. Doesn't matter where it's flat to, but I just need to pick a spot basically and just flatten the entire thing. And that would just ensure that I don't have any issues with my pathing. So I'm going to bring that right out over here and hope, actually, do you know what, I should have done that from where this pathway is really. Let's just redo that just in case it's anything slightly off there. It should be pretty much flat already, but I just want to make sure that this is all flat before I do too much and it goes wrong. Okay, that looks good to me. So this itself needs to move. So I want it. So this is going to have the entrance in it as well. Now I'm just coming back, but what I want this big glass side to come along this way. So I want it to be at an angle. So this will be the entrance eventually. So it's not going to end up looking exactly like this because it will have an entrance door in it as well. But let's just see. I want to have a pathway. Now, a lot of this I am making up as I go along, so you're just going to have to bear with me. This zoo is going to be very detailed, but it's not going to be a quick thing because I'm not particularly good at this sort of building, and I want to be honest with you about that. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, good. So the angle is still working. So what I can do. So what I wanted to do with this was, I want to create this kind of flow. Now, actually, let's just think. If this is coming around here, see, this gets complicated already, just how I'm going to do this. Yeah, so it's going to be quite a wide thing, I think. Like that. And then is that going to end up coming... Hang on, let's just zoom out and see. What does that look like? Yeah, so the idea is there's going to be like a flower bed, basically, along here. But the problem I've got here is the corner. Actually, no, that's fine. I can take that on a sharp corner, I think. And that will go out there somewhere. Actually, I'm not sure I want a pathway along this bit, do I? Actually, no. Let's leave it there. So we won't get many people walking on this probably because it's not really. It doesn't really lead anywhere. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to make this building a bit shorter, and I'm actually going to end this pathway like that. And I'm going to let that dictate how long this bit is, like that. Right, let's just, of course, let's just get that last bit filled in there. Always very hard lining these things up. Lovely stuff, right. And then let's copy this down. Okay, so that's the end of the building there. Now let's just see, that's just sticking out. And that's just not quite sticking out there. So let's just try and level that up if I can. So from this angle, it's actually going to look symmetrical, which is cool. I think that's about right. Okay, good. Right, so there's a nice bit of structure. Now, how do I want to do this next bit? Let's just copy this. So this was my thinking, was that I would have another layer of this. Something like that. And so the entrance will come in here. So some of this will get, probably these sort of middle three pieces will get removed to make way for an entrance. Now I've got to hope this is high enough actually. Can I do a path under here? Yes, I can. Good. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to widen this out. Now where is it? Yeah, so here. So if we say... Let's do that, and then let's see if we can align that to a grid. Yeah, good, and we can kind of go in both directions like that. Let's bring that right in like that. Now, is there an option? I think there's an option for squared edges, isn't there? Okay, maybe not. Where is it? Oh, square edges. There it is. Okay. Right, so if you do it like that, you get square edges. Hang on. Yeah. Okay, so I've just got to delete them and then do them again. There we go. Good stuff. Right, let's leave it like that for now. So this building, I'm just sort of building as I go along. I don't know how high the building's going to be. I think, I don't know what this edge is going to be either. So let's focus on what I do know. What do I know? Nothing. Now what I do know is that I want some of this stuff as the base. Actually, do you know what? I should probably use... Yeah, let's use that as the base instead. Ah, hang on, no, because if that goes into that, no, let's not use that. Let's stick with what I was originally going to do, because that can disappear under there like that, can't it? Lovely stuff, right? Yep, and into there, good. So I can have this coming all the way along here. In fact, what I will do, combine that, try and speed up the process a bit. Get that all the way over to there. And then let's bring it this way. And then this is going to be basically a beautiful flower bed. We'll sort the edges out when I get to it. There we go. Let's just copy this one over. I'm going to just take it to there for now. So I do need to just come in here, I think, and just delete some bits here just to create an opening, which I can then smarten up at some point as well. Let's just get that sorted out. So the zoo is going to be very modern. That's my thinking. So lots of glass, lots of this, the art blocks. Lovely. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so lots of cool looking modern architecture is my plan. I've been doing a lot of research online, just googling sort of modern architecture and green architecture, that sort of thing, just to try and get ideas really for what I could do. Now I need a barrier along here. Let's see if there's any. I can never find any good looking fence pieces. I do often go with that one, but that's not quite grand enough, is it? I don't think. And that's probably too grand. What looks suitably modern? That one looks pretty modern. But actually no, because I want. Yes, here we go. Let's have a look at this one. I do want the greenery to show through. Let's have a look. Yeah, so if that goes like that, and then you have to link it like that, right? So again, I'm going to try and do as much of this as possible as sort of separate things, so that when I change my mind and want to delete things, it's quite easy to do it. That's my thinking, right? And it also makes this sort of thing a lot easier as well. It's nice and quick and easy to highlight things. There we go. Right, and then I think just two more probably. Nope, one more. Right, so I need to try and balance that out. I'm not sure if, because we've got the curled end here but not here, so I don't know what I'm doing down this side yet. I like the idea of this side actually being curled, or certainly from here to here. I just wonder, let's just come into this. I just wonder whether I can actually just copy this. Now why is that going at a weird angle? Hang on, how many pieces have we got here? We got 3. Is that pulling it at a weird angle? Or is it just that? No, I think that is actually pulling it straight, isn't it? But the path goes a bit too far. Interesting. Right. Right, hang on. Let's have a look. So we have, yes, we've got 3 pieces. Oh, there's a, oh yes, because for some reason these bits are thicker than these ones, which is most peculiar. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to put them there. And then I'm going to split that off. And then again, it will be easy for me to duplicate. So this will create a nice smooth arched end, I hope. But we'll try it and we'll see. If it doesn't look good, then I'll try something else. But I think this should just about work. So there is going to be an awful lot of trial and error in this. The whole building side of things is something that I've not ever really been very good at, and I'm not claiming that I'm going to be good at it this time as well, but I just really want to try, you know, and that's kind of what this game is about. It's just giving things a go. Okay, let's just thin this down a bit. Okay, what have we got sticking out there? Right, I think these ones, I need to keep them and just move them back in a bit. Funny angles again. It's fine. I'll do it the slow way. Excellent, there we go. Right. I like that as an end actually. I think that looks really cool. And it just blends the 2 things together. So the issue we've got is the path. So I just wonder if I can... it's not... yeah, that's fine. I can get away with that. And then actually I'll do the same there because I'm gonna have the same issue. That's fine. So this I will somehow link this pathway. Probably centrally down here. Let's have a look at that now. So we want oh, how wide was it? Was it 6? Yeah, that looks like 6. So I'm going to want this coming off here. It's very hard to get that exactly in the middle, but yeah, basically like that, I think. And then what's it going to do? I don't know. I've got to work out what I'm doing inside, haven't I? And how tall is the building going to be? Ah, so many questions. Tell you what, let's do a bit more building over this side first, because I know basically what I want to do here. So over here, I want glass. So I want it to be off grid. So what have we got that's off grid? There are some nice pieces because I found them before. Yep, so we've got, yeah, probably this kind of thing. What are these ones? That's glass pane. What's the difference between that and that? Glass modern thin. I think this is what I want. So let's have a look at this. So this wants to be, I don't think it matters which way around it goes. Let's bring it into about there. Now let's see how this looks. I think you just, yeah, if you connect it like that, so you get a slight line. I think that looks pretty good. So again, let's just create a separate piece out of this. So the idea here is that I want this to be a big greenhouse, essentially, from the side. Right, how far do I want this to go? I don't want it to be too big. Is that's not quite connected, is it? There we go. There, I think that's fine. And then I think this whole thing is going to be 2 layers tall, I reckon. And then this is the big test. It was to whether I can make this bit work. It's just coming inside that. Yeah, that's fine. I can maneuver the whole thing a bit. Okay, and then actually let's maneuver it first. So where do I want it to go at this end? Tell you what, let's bring it. If I just maneuver it right inside, how does that look? Yeah, it's still too far in there. That is a bit odd because it means the top bit there and the bottom aren't matching up, which is, yeah, it doesn't, I don't know, they look like they're matching up, don't they? I'm not sure quite what's happened there. But I'm going to have to bring it out so that it's outside of that window, but then you end up with just that little bit there. So I might just have to put a little bit in there to cover that, which is fine. I can handle that. Right, great. So let's see. So this now is going to come up to here, and then I'm hoping it will do something like that. But at what angle? That's the question. See, I quite like it just angled a small amount. And then, oh, hang on, how's this going to, yeah, this is going to be tricky now, isn't it? Right, let's line that up. And then do it again. Okay, it's not quite lined up, but that's fine. Let's go for that. I think that looks good. I just need to actually get it touching. Which is very tricky. Boom, there we go. Awesome sauce. Okay. So, that's that. Now obviously that needs some nice framework in it, which it will get eventually. How is this going to work here? So this might change, I think, at this end. Let's just come out and see what it looks like from over here. Yeah, interesting so far. That's the word I would use, interesting. I'm okay with interesting. So the idea is inside that this pathway down here will come along here somewhere, and there'll be, again, more bushes and trees and things growing, and you actually walk through sort of an indoor forest is kind of my thinking. But there may also be some sort of underground type stuff going on. this is gonna be one of those buildings that doesn't come together really until it's finished. It's gonna look a bit odd, I think, to start with. Still not too sure if I'm happy with this. I'd like this bit of pathway here. I'm just not sure quite how it's going to connect and what it's going to... It's not really doing anything, is it? I don't think we're going to get people walking up there. That's the problem. Even if it looks nice. Because there's not going to be any reason for people to go up there. Do you know what, actually? I think... Let's get rid of that. And what I might do is... I might do a pathway that comes out the side. Kind of out here somewhere. Something like that. And maybe kind of through there. Let's do that. I'm not going to have one here because I want this side is going to have lots of plants and trees and things. But I can get a pathway that comes this way, and then kind of out and around the back here, and potentially going up because obviously it's quite a tall building. Well, it will be quite a tall building because this is kind of the height that it will go to. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue this design upwards. I'm not sure that's going to work. Or if I want more glass at the front here. Depends. I need an edge here, don't I? Yeah. And I've got to work out what I'm doing inside here. I think I want to do some terrain stuff. So what I'm thinking is I might want this to be like a raised pathway that comes through here. So the trees and things are actually starting lower down and you're sort of above them. I think that will look really nice. So you sort of look down onto the greenery and then have the trees coming up all around you. I think that will look quite nice actually. So I think what I need to do is just a little bit of pushing, and then a little bit of flattening out. Something like that. Try and get it right up to there. So it's not a huge amount. I mean, it might, yeah, I think that's probably enough. And then can I get the pathway here? Okay, why is it doing that? I want that to be flat. I don't want it. Why is it trying to do it down there? That's just bizarre, isn't it? Is it because it's not low enough? I wonder. I wonder if I do something out here. Yeah, maybe that's how I need to do it. Just have a slight raise up there, and then kind of bring it through like that, and then back onto dry land over there, something like that. Okay, that's fine. That's good. Yeah, I think that will look nice. Cool. Okay. And then we're going to have sort of some information-y stuff over here, maybe some sort of exhibits. I think something central as well. Actually, do you know, I might, because I've got all this space as well. So I might bring the building further out here and do more stuff going on over here as well. have kind of sub buildings. So I could have a building over here which is like a restaurant area, but have it as a separate building, have a pathway that comes out from here. I was also thinking of doing a train that goes around the whole place. So that's a possibility, that I'll start a train station here somewhere. Obviously, I can have animals over here. So I was thinking of like a bay. So something like this looks good as a bay, doesn't it? Where you have your seals or something living out in the bay with a viewing area. I don't know if there's other places around that would lend itself to that. I suppose that would be logical over there. And you've got an area like that. That's probably lending itself to some sort of animal, like a water animal, isn't it? But yeah, I could do a train going around the outside roughly. And then maybe, yeah, I don't know. Don't know what's going on over here. This lends itself to a big lake, but that's a bit too obvious, so I don't know. Elephants maybe in this cave area here. I don't know, something big here with, I don't know, some sort of bandstandy type thing around the top here. I don't know. I really am just making this stuff up as I go along. But I've got a sort of an idea of roughly how I want things to look. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, let me know, what are your thoughts on the new zoo? Do you have any ideas for animals, buildings you want me to do, design styles, anything at all? Let me know. So this has at least been a slightly more productive episode than my first one. Let me know what you think, and yeah, don't worry, Misty Marsh will still be around. I'm going to sort of let the wind dictate me, really. I'll come and sit on my computer when I'm doing my recordings and see what I want to do. It might be that I do this one for a little while and then go back to Misty Marsh. I just don't know. But you guys let me know what you want to see. That's really what matters to me. I want you guys to be enjoying my videos. So yeah, let's leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me in this new episode of Isna Zoo. Hopefully you can join me again next time. Until then, do take care. Bye for now.